The U.S. House of Representatives recently passed the MORE Act, which would decriminalize marijuana on the federal level. The bill has not been voted on in the Senate, but if passed, it would expunge prior marijuana-related drug charges. I spoke to UWF students to get their opinion on the legalization of marijuana. Do you think that marijuana should be legalized for recreational use, and why or why not?
Personally, I don't see an issue with it. I don't feel like it's not safe to use. Obviously, with any substance, there's an importance to not overdo it.
I'm kind of neutral about it. I wouldn't really care if it happened, and I wouldn't be angry if it didn't happen.
I would say yes. I, of course, have my concerns for the youth, but if they want something, they're going to get a hold of it regardless.
I don't know enough information on that to be completely solid in my answer, but I don't have a problem with it. I think it's most likely, based on my education at this point, that it is safe enough and it's better to not legalize it, or not make it a crime to have it, so to legalize it. Because if you make it not taboo to talk about it and to have access to it and be educated about it, people are more likely to be safe with it and use it in ways that are beneficial to them.
I think that people have the right to make their own decisions, and medical marijuana or recreational marijuana is one of those decisions. I mean, we see more accidents with alcohol and incidents of cancers and other things with cigarettes than we do with marijuana, and yet it's still illegal.
As far as I know, it's not like addictive. So like it's essentially the same type of thing as like alcohol, and alcohol could be like worse, I would say. So if that's legal, I don't see why recreational marijuana would not be legal.
Yeah, I do, because as a medical marijuana patient, it's actually harder to get your medicine because of the fact that it's still federally legal. And the state of Florida specifically is actually trying to go retroactive. They are making laws to make it even harder to get prescriptions that we already have. And I personally think that it would be fine to have it recreationally legal, just like with how it works in other states. You would just, you control it.
I think it's good to have it regulated that way as well, because there's people are going to go out of the way, like Ian said, to get this no matter what, if it's illegal or legal, and it could be cut with any kind of other substance, and that could cause a lot more issues. So I think it should be approved federally, and it can work a lot better.
I think our prisons are overcrowded anyways, and it would be fantastic if it's a non-violent crime for people to get out. Tax dollars won't be used for someone who didn't do something violent or harm anybody else, who were just using a substance.
I think if you broke the law previously to it, then I think it shouldn't change what happened. It was legal prior, and it still is.
I mean, obviously everyone's opinion on it varies, but at least for me, I think the less people we have in a jail is better, especially if it's for offenses that aren't violent in nature in any way, shape, or form.
We've seen that criminalizing a lot of different drugs like that can put different populations disproportionately, can affect different populations disproportionately. So I think that doing that would help counteract that.
I have mixed feelings on that, because at the same time, people who were consuming / selling or whatnot, they knew that it was at the time against the law, so knowingly broke the law.
I see criminals nowadays who gets off with 2 to 5 years or 5 to 10 years for doing a robbery or second-degree murder for that account, but a drug charge and they 15-20 years over a plant.
I think it would eliminate like the stigma of marijuana use, and I feel it's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, and law enforcement and the correctional facilities can better use their time and money going after something that's like bigger than just marijuana use.